First tonight, there is growing concern surrounding Brightline trains.
Yeah, this comes after two deadly accidents happened just days apart. On Friday, two people died in a collision with a Brightline train at a railroad crossing near Melbourne. 2 days earlier, at the same crossing, one person died after the train hit an SUV. The National Transportation Safety Board says they'll be investigating those two deadly crashes.
Local leaders have been pushing hard recently to try and get the Brightline Railway to make its way between Orlando and Tampa. 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser reports about recent concerns.
Obviously, it's top of mind for everyone that's involved.
Santiago Corrada, president of Visit Tampa Bay, is convinced high-speed rail will be a tremendous asset for the Tampa Bay region, but sensitive to a growing number of deadly incidents involving Brightline trains.
Making those connections is ultimately important, but again, making sure that all those riders are safe is paramount.
3 deaths in Melbourne last week bring the total to at least 108 since the high-speed rail began operations in July of 2017. That's the worst death rate among the nation's more than 800 railroads, according to the Associated Press. Still, none of Brightline's previous fatalities have been the rail line's fault, and many have unfortunately been suicides.
I've talked to them about the safety of their trains, and they are very, very cognizant of that.
Tampa Mayor Jane Castor is part of a group that recently rode the high-speed rail from Miami to Orlando, touting the benefits of expanding service to Tampa. She says she's satisfied with Brightline's response.
Yes, because I think that the way that they're looking at it is, again, there's always room for improvement, and how can we better educate the community.
State lawmakers moving ahead are also looking at Senate Bill 1226, which would set aside 44 feet of right-of-way along I-4 between Orlando and Tampa. FDOT would cover the cost of building the rail, but seek reimbursement from leasing the corridor to Brightline.
I think it's a win-win for everyone, but again, I'm sure Brightline is going to be focused on the safety concerns that have popped up over the last several weeks.
Safety officials will have plenty of time to work out any concerns. A Brightline spokesperson says it would take 3 years to build a Tampa extension after funding, design, and expansion plans are finalized. In Tampa, Eric Glasser, 10 Tampa Bay.
Brightline extended from Miami to Orlando this past September. The Associated Press keeps a database of railway incidents. There have now been 5 deaths along that new stretch of service.